So we have Gary Russell Jr. His next fight, I believe, is with Rey Vargas. Interesting fight. Interesting. We got Gary Russell. His last fight was 2020 against Tug. Good fight. Gary Russell, man, he's been fighting. I've talked about this. He's been fighting pretty much. He fought only 6 times in like 5 years. You know, the average man, most of these new age boxers, 2 times a year maybe. Wait, so that'd be like maybe it'd be like 10 fights in 5 years or 12 fights. And Gary Russell only fought once every year for the past 5 years, 5 or 6 years. So, but at least he managed to squeeze in one fight last year. His opponent, Rey Vargas, he's coming off of a damn near, he'll be almost 2 years in. July, I believe, would have been 2 years this year. His last fight was in 2019, so he probably has a lot of ring rust. So let's talk about him, man. Let's talk about my prediction for this fight. Well, you got Rey Vargas, man. Much taller than Gary Russell. Gary Russell is 5'4", man. He's even shorter than Tank Davis. So Rey Vargas is 5'10", 70.5-inch reach. Longer reach than Gary Russell. Gary Russell's reach is 64 inches. So this Rey Vargas dude, 34 wins and no losses, man. 22 knockouts. Versus Gary Russell, 31 wins, 1 loss, and 18 knockouts. And that loss come from Vasyl Lomachenko is the only man to give Gary Russell his loss. So we got Gary Russell, some of the fastest hands in boxing. I believe the fastest at 126 is Gary Russell with his speed. Good, decent footwork. Defense is a little subpar. Gary Russell, man, for a guy that's not really known for his power, he likes to slug it out because I guess it's the small man complex. He likes to trade. He's a chance. I call him a chance volume puncher. He's very good. He's a very good volume puncher, mid range. He's okay on the outside. Inside fighting is a little man, But Rey Vargas, man, long ass arms, seems to have more power than Gary Russell. He's a was it Mexican, I believe. Yeah, he's from Mexico, so he likes to slug it out. You know how these Mexicans do. So given that he's still coming off of almost a 2-year layoff, Gary Russell's coming off of one fight from last year, so he's been inactive for a year, Gary Russell. So since February of last year, so he's been inactive for over a year. So Gary Russell's been more active than this guy. How do I see this going? I believe Gary Russell is gonna have to be careful. He's gonna have to be a little careful in this fight. For some reason, this guy's long, he's strong. And Gary's going to be careful because, like I say, he hasn't really been fighting much. He's going to have to be careful with this kid. If he stands there and trades with him, I think Gary could possibly get hurt by this dude. But I don't see it happening. Gary is much too experienced for this. I think nobody even knows how old this kid is. I've been looking around to see how old this Rey Vargas kid is. The guy looks like he's about pushing fucking 35, 36, 38 years old. Look like he pushing close to 40, but who knows. But Gary Russell should be fine in this fight. I think this guy's ring rust is going to play a major factor in this fight. He's much slower than Gary Russell. He just doesn't have it, man. He doesn't have the speed, doesn't have the footwork. So I got Gary Russell outboxing this guy if he's responsible enough to not get hurt, because that's possible in this fight. I think so. But like I said, the layoff is going to play a factor, and I think Gary Russell, he did manage to squeeze in a fight last year, so he has some kind of activity going. He stays in shape. Gary's a dog. All of them are dogs. His brothers, like I said, they're all dogs. This should be a 12-round win for Gary Russell Jr. Should outbox him with no issues. So I'll get back at y'all later, man. Y'all enjoy y'all day. I'll catch y'all later on the next fight, the next video. Peace.